Today we're talking curves, and specifically architectural curves to make a house really shine. We're at the Venkatesh project, and I'm Dave Edwards.
And I'm Patrick Dugan.
Let's take it away. Architectural design is really an entire spectrum of different details. Modern style projects tend to have very straight lines, natural materials, no trim, but other projects like this Mediterranean style house have a lot of other architectural features, including curves. And I personally love curves, but I also know that trees don't grow in curves. And so curves are actually a really kind of time-intensive thing to set up. So Pat, tell me a little bit about not only what you got from the plan set from the architect on this, but how you laid out all these curves and really the work process that goes into not only laying out the curves, but finishing them.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, this plan set was very highly developed, right? So we're working with the architect, and at each location, they're calling out and specifying what the radius is on each opening or soffit, arch, everything like that. So it starts by them specifying what that dimension is, and then what our crew does is we lay it out. We have a lot of large room here on the floor, so we lay it out on the floor, we strike that radius and make sure it is as per plan. We cut our templates, and then we infill.
You cut it in, so you lay it out on a piece of plywood or pieces of plywood on the ground.
Correct.
And then you trace it, and then you cut it out with not a circular saw, which goes straight, but with like a jigsaw, which can do the curves.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So let me reference something. So here, this is not a circle. This is not a simple circle. How do you lay this out? Like, what are you doing to lay out a shape that's that?
Well, so on this particular opening for this window, it's got that elliptical arch to it, and the window manufacturer actually brought us the template for this window.
Okay.
So we just actually requested the dimensions, but in order to make sure everything was right, they wanted to make it easy and just give us the actual template.
And was that a full-size template?
Full size, exactly that, as big as that.
So you just put that on the ground, trace that out in the plywood, put that up here, and then what happens?
So it's pretty time consuming, so because these are all inset windows here.
Oh,
so
yes.
It's got that 2x8 with an inset 2x6 thickness to have that window inset. So there's a lot of little pieces that you have to cut inside, basically like sandwich between the two pieces of plywood and get that detail.
Got it. So it's partially hidden by the plywood and partially by the waterproof on the outside, but basically you're making a curve out of a bunch of small straight pieces.
That's correct.
Okay, and you can kind of see this over here in this arch behind us. Now, why are there so many of them? Why are there so many boards? And like a normal straight wall, where it's 16 or 24 inches on center, here we're like 3 inches on center.
Yeah, so the tighter that radius, when you put your finishing material, so there's either drywall or plaster. Plaster, you have a little bit more flexibility because you're using wire and the mesh in order to do that, and you're putting a finish. But if you're using drywall, you really need to be fastening at a closer interval than, say, a flat wall of 16 on center.
Because the drywall comes in straight sheets, not in curves, and so you have to kind of artificially curve it.
That's correct. So in this location, what they'll probably be is 2 1/4-inch layers of drywall.
Okay.
In order to get that, in order to create that radius.
And then the drywallers have to really come in here and smooth it all out. That's probably a lot of extra work.
Yes, it takes some time, definitely.
Okay. So if you're interested in learning more about building design or architecture or about the Venkatesh project, please hit subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.